It is Wednesday, April 8th, 2026. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by T-Mobile. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan along for the ride as well. I look like I have to have school photos today. That's why I'm all dressed, already showered, no cap on this hair, collared shirt.
You look great. A collar makes such a difference. You look so
Does.
professional, man.
I know it is. It's one of these fabric shirts, so it's very stretchy and stuff. I like
Love
it.
that.
It's very wrinkly though.
Okay.
So I might do this several times throughout the show.
Just own it, Chris. Don't let the clothes wear you. You wear the clothes.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Or I could just be like Pirates 19-year-old shortstop Konnor Griffin and just buy, I don't know, my own stylist and have him go get me some new shirts because he just made it official. 9-year deal through 2034, reportedly $140 million. This has been rumored ever since the announcement first came out that he was getting selected to come to the big leagues. And now it's done. And if you're a Pirates fan, you are jumping for joy today, Plouffe.
You are. Like you mentioned, it's been rumored that it was going on, but to finally see it done, understanding this is your guy, and you talk about it all the time. I can buy a jersey with Konnor Griffin's name on it. That means a lot, and especially the way they've gotten the season started, 7-4. They're 4-1 with Konnor Griffin. He hasn't really shown out offensively at the big league level, but he will. But he's shown other ways that he can affect the ball game. Defense, base running, all those things. And just he's an energy guy. Like I feel like because he's up, it makes that roster say, all right, we're kind of like all in. Like this is for 2026. This is our all in.
Yeah. Yeah. And it puts a vibe in the city where they just don't have to focus strictly on the Steelers, even though the NFL draft is coming there in a couple of weeks. Like, how are we going to do that? But people will pay attention to the Pirates, and they should. And I think nationally, now that you've got the best pitcher in the National League and one of the up-and-coming players in Major League Baseball who just signed to an extension, they're going to be a story more than every 5 days when Skeens takes them out. And I think that's great for them. It's great for their fan base, and I think it's great for the sport. So, awesome. Good for that kid. Yeah.
Can I tell you something I'm not excited for?
What's that?
You made me do this.
Ooh.
I have a horrible soundbite out there about if you want to see Paul Skeens pitch in the playoffs. I said you got to play MLB The Show. That is going to come back to bite me. It was just a flippant remark trying to be funny. I missed the mark. It's not what I do, Chris.
Wait, when did that happen?
I don't know. Don't look it up.
And
but it's out there.
Why did I make you do it? Because you answered the question.
Something. It was like at the end of a show, and we were talking. Geez. I was tired, and
oh no,
that one's going to be on a promo video.
Yeah, it is. You know what was great? We put out the clip because we had a really good discussion about Wilson Contreras and getting hit by Brandon Woodruff and the Milwaukee Brewers and getting hit 24 times in his career and the whole bit. And, sometimes those clips get chopped up a little bit. It's not the full discussion. It can't be. We had a 10-minute discussion about it. They clip it down into 2 minutes. And that's just how this business works. It was so funny, the amount of hate that I was getting from that clip when I didn't say anything except ask the question. You're like, Rose, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you're right, but it's the other guy that was talking, not me. His name's Trevor. Get off my...
People are not happy. They do not like Wilson Contreras. That's all Milwaukee fans do.
I'll tell you this, man. I would want to go play in Milwaukee because those people will have your back through anything.
Good for you, Brewers fans. In Milwaukee. You'd eat so many brats.
God, I would weigh 678 pounds.
I would love a brat right now.
Oh, breakfast brat?
Sure.
Why not? Oh. Let's get to it. See him make a playoff start in a Pirates uni. Oh, come on.
Go play MLB The Show.
That away, Dan Rourke. Nailed it.
That's a bad moment for me.
It's okay. You want to take it back?
I'll say this. I didn't know. At the time, we're talking about a team and a fan base that was yelling, like, sell the team to their owner. He was investing no money.
Do you want to take it back? Yes or no?
They've changed course.
I'm
They
giving you
started to sign players in the offseason. What was the stat? Who the last guy to get a long-term free agent deal was who?
Ivan Nova, multi-year
So,
deal.
dude, I mean, they've changed course. Maybe, how about this? Spin zone it. Maybe that was the clip that finally turned it around for them.
Okay, good. I mean, look, nobody would play golf with you today. I'm giving you the chance at a verbal mulligan. Do you want to take it back? Yes or no?
Do I think the Pirates will make the playoffs with Paul Skeens in the rotation? Do I think it'll happen? I do.
Let's go.
I think there's a wild card to be had.
Yes.
If
I
Bubba
love
Chandler
that.
is who we think he is, there's a wild card to be had.
Let's do
Get
it.
in the strike zone, Bubba.
All right, there's a lot of love on this show. So now we get to a lot of hate. I don't know if y'all stayed up late on Tuesday night or not, because the Braves and the Angels, it got ugly. And here's the reason it all started.
He's saying, go to, bring him here.
There's a drive out to the left field corner. Dubon's after it, but it's gone. Jorge Soler once again has torched Ronaldo Lopez.
That's right, Wayne. It was his 5th career homer in 23 at-bats against his former Atlanta teammate, but it got worse. Soler got hit in the 3rd inning. Then in the 5th, he comes up, and with a man on, Lopez buzzes his tower. Runner goes to 2nd, but then Lopez and Soler have this stare down going on. And then Soler's like, I'm coming after you. These are 2 big men going at it. We got a big-time fight. We got haymakers thrown and connected. Lopez is hanging onto the ball the whole time. And who tackles Soler? None other than Atlanta Braves manager, 62-year-old Walt Weiss. Another closer look. Lopez is holding onto the ball the whole time. He actually nails Soler in the helmet with it, continues to backpedal like Deion Sanders back in his Atlanta Falcons days, gets dropped by Walt Weiss. Here is the Brave skipper afterward.
I love Soler. You know, we were teammates here, but that's a big man, and so I just felt I got to get him off his feet because he's going to hurt somebody. And so that was just that was my instinct, just to get in there and get Georgie off his feet. Yeah.
Well, both batter and pitcher were ejected. One more look at Walt Weiss, who, oh, by the way, is one of the best dudes in baseball and is a Taekwondo black belt. That is one guy you don't screw with. I don't care whether he's 62 years old or not. That dude should get signed by the Falcons.
I knew there was some training there because that was textbook. He didn't even hesitate. He went low. He did all the things right. I mean, you mentioned he's up there in age, but you can tell he's just got that grappling ability. Good for him, dude. This was crazy, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
The first highlight I saw, they were focusing on like second base, so you didn't know like why it started. Then you start to get all the different camera angles. And after the game, Soler, he even said, he said something to me. I didn't like the response that I got from him. We don't know what it was, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go, you gotta go. I thought it was fascinating that Lopez kept the ball in his hand the entire time. Even kind of took a swing with the ball in his hand. I mean, this was a good old fashioned like real fight right here, Chris. We don't get this too often.
Yeah, that was fascinating. I mean, I think that Lopez is because Ronaldo Lopez isn't a little dude either.
No,
but Jorge Soler is a different category of human being. That is an extremely large, strong man. We've seen when he hits the baseball. So just imagine if he does connect on another human being. I just can't get over the whole Walt Weiss thing. Out of all the people that are going to go in there and tackle it, it's a 62-year-old man, wraps him up, drags him down.
And I'm trying to figure out where I land there because I don't know if I want managers like in the scrum. I don't really want him in the middle of all of that. Kind of like if the 2 dogs want to go at it, let them go at it. But with his background and training, it makes a little bit more sense. But then why don't you just go get your guy? And why are you getting Soler? I know you have a relationship with him. It's kind of all jumbled up to me right now. I don't know how to I don't really know how to formulate an opinion on Walt Weiss and what he did. Like, good job / I think normally if we saw another manager take out another player, we would be like, what is he doing out there? They have their relationship. I don't know, man. I'm kind of like in a blender right now.
The most famous one in any sort of sporting circles is Jeff Van Gundy holding on to the leg
Oh, I
of
remember that.
Alonzo Mourning during the Heat-Knicks fight, and he gets up, and not that Jeff ever had, Bradley Cooper-type hair, but his hair was freaking all over the place. And baseball-wise, Dan, I don't know if you're going to be able to find this because the game was not on TV. I don't know if you remember the name Pat Corrales.
Oh
He
my
was a
gosh,
longtime
you are going
manager.
somewhere. I can't wait.
So he
Take
was
me
a
on a
longtime
journey.
manager and coach. He was a manager for the Indians back in the 80s. He went after Dave Stewart. And Stu, for people that remembered him on the mound, there were few more intimidating pitchers than Dave Stewart. And this is out in Oakland one day. And Pat Corrales came out and went after Stewart. And one of the guys karate kicked the other dude. And Pat Corrales ended up on the ground. It was not pretty. That was not good. Not good.
Okay.
And then, of course, the late Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez, of course, in the playoffs between the Red Sox and Yankees. That one got ugly.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I know Walt's got his, all his black belt and all that, but if Soler saw him coming and put a knee up into his face, we're talking about a completely different thing. I don't know. I'm still, again, Walt Weiss, you're an enigma to me. I think you did the right thing, but I also think managers should stay out of it.
I think the dude. Here we go. Here's Pat Corrales. See,
oh my God. Dave Stewart threw him off like he was a child.
Dude, look, Corrales comes up with the kick, and Stu, right hand, knocks the old man down.
That was like a forearm to the face.
Yeah. And in the 80s, they used to just brawl. Look at this. Look at the dog piles out there.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Good job, Dan.
Jake and I were talking about the whole thing this morning. Look at him. He's like, dang, I shouldn't have done that. Dave Stewart, the beast.
Yeah.
Pick your fucking battles, man.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
We were talking about this today. Why did either of those guys get ejected?
Why did they?
Yeah, why?
Well, you can't start a fight and have a fight and make it through.
Okay. Who started the fight?
It depends which way you look at it.
What do you mean? Jorge, he didn't hit him right there. Jorge Soler started that fight. He walked out, charged the mound. So why is Ronaldo Lopez ejected?
Why did he get removed from the game?
Yeah.
Probably because the umpires had a chance to think about what had transpired between he hit him in the third.
There was no warnings. He didn't hit him right there. That ball wasn't really close.
Give a warning. You can just, if you get together and you think that somebody did it intentionally.
But that wasn't even really close. It was high. It wasn't really We think, Jake and I decided that they should just both be allowed to stay in the game. Yeah.
Finish the at-bat.
Whatever. You got in a fight, so what? You don't eject hockey players when they get in fights, do you? They might get a little timeout.
They get penalties depending on the
little timeout.
Yeah, you get put in the box depending on the severity of the fight. George Brett and Greg Nettles in the ALCS, the big fight at third base. Neither of those guys got ejected, and that was a huge fight.
I like that.
So,
imagine if those guys fight right there. The at-bat's not over. They got to go back out there and do it again. How fun would that be?
All right, so a lot to get to. Walt Weiss, did you like what he did or not? Would you like to have just seen it continue on? I just dig it. I dig it that one of the older guys on the field is sticking his nose in there and not making a fool out of himself. It was quite the opposite with Walt Weiss. And then Plouffe and Jake bringing up a good point. Should they even have been ejected? We know they're both going to get suspended. Do you think it's the same number of games?
I don't think Ronaldo Lopez should miss a start.
So you think his suspension should be 3 games?
Do I like that he hit him the at-bat before? Do I like that he kind of went up there? I don't love it, but I also don't think it was intentional. I mean, I don't know.
With all that success that Soler's had against him?
Walt Weiss said after the game, he goes, I would never let that happen. If a guy has your number, your job is to get him out. You're not thrown at him. He said that. I don't know. I don't. So if you're on my side and you don't think it was intentional, why are you suspending?
Because that's what the league does.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like the league does, which is not always great.
If it is, then he'll be suspended for five days.
And Soler?
I mean, like, yeah, you charge the mound, you got to pay the price, right?
So 5 games?
In that instance, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to put a number on it, but in that instance, like, because he didn't
want to
get
put a
hit,
number on it. Have some fun.
3 games.
3. I think I'll take the over on that.
Yeah, probably.
I'll take the over on that. That was good stuff, man. Wow. Dan Rourke, you might be the MVP of the show so far. Getting a clip of Plouffe saying that about Paul Skeens and then getting the Pat Corrales getting his you-know-what waxed by Dave Stewart. Good work. I also want to let everybody know that today's episode is sponsored by Amazon. When life throws you a curveball, Amazon's everyday low prices on essentials helps you save the day. Amazon has everything you need whenever you need it. From planned purchases to unexpected moments, they've got everything in one place, saving you time and money so you can focus on what matters most. Like, for instance, if Ronaldo Lopez had his phone out, he could have very quickly ordered a bodyguard on the mound. Would have helped. Maybe it gets there a little bit after the moment that Jorge Soler comes out to attack him, but you never know because Amazon's that good. From tech to clothing to daily needs, anything else you need to prepare for the start of the baseball season, Amazon has everything you need all in one convenient place, and it can deliver to you, even on a pitcher's mound, anytime, anywhere. So whether it's routine shopping or handling life's curveballs, shop Amazon and save on the essentials. Save the every day. All right, Chicago Cubs, they win and unfortunately lose all on the same day. They beat the Rays down in Tampa, 9-2 was the final. They also found out they lost their stud young right-hander, Cade Horton, for the season. He's either going to have Tommy John surgery or the internal brace surgery to repair a torn UCL.
You put your head to, like, what's next? And you're just disappointed. I mean, the fun thing we get to do is compete, that's the other stuff, all the preparation to compete, is fun, and it's part of the kind of grind of your job, but you got to do the grind of your job kind of without the fun.
That, of course, is Cubs skipper Craig Counsell, and what a bummer it is for a kid that was seemingly coming into his own the second half of last year.
He really was. I mean, Rookie of the Year runner-up last year, 267, started this year just as good. And, yeah, for all, you start to feel like, hey, I really, really belong in the big leagues. And that's one of the most fun times you can have in your career is, like, I've established myself. I'm that guy. And you start to get that confidence. And then, yeah, an injury cuts it down. It's very difficult. I like what Craig said right there. It's like you put the work in and you get the reward. And now when you go on the IL with something like this, it's like you put the work in and the reward is very, very far away. And it's tough. It was, I think overall that Chicago has enough depth to kind of sustain this. Maybe not in the immediate timeline, but once Justin Steele is back, once Boyd kind of gets over what he's dealing with, it's not supposed to be super long term. I think they have enough to be able to sustain this. But obviously, massive blow for the Cubs, but also on a personal level to Cade Horton.
Yeah, so there's 2 parts of it. I want to deal with the Horton stuff first because, unfortunately, his entire career pitching, even when he got to college, has been marred by injury, right? In 2021 at Oklahoma, Tommy John surgery. Now he's having it 5 years later. He missed basically all of 2024 with a shoulder issue. Last year was the freak rib injury that cost him a chance to appear in the playoffs. If there's a guy he needs to talk to today or in the near future when he's ready to, it's his teammate, Jameson Taillon, who is one of the guys who has had multiple surgeries. And once again, we don't know if this is going to be the internal brace, which is the less severe of the 2 UCL surgeries, or Tommy John. We're going to know that shortly, it sounds like. But Jameson Taillon had one in 2014, had one in 2019. He has had a good, solid major league career, let's remember that he was a top 3 pick the year that he came out. So I think probably they were, you expected top of the rotation. He's ended up, like I said, being a very solid, dependable major league pitcher, but he's a guy who can help you navigate these mental hurdles that you're going to have to get over. And I imagine that as a professional athlete, that's 95% of the stuff, because the medical side of it is so good that you can get through that.
Unfortunately, like you mentioned, he has experience doing it.
Yeah.
So, it's something that you just have to be very, very mentally strong with. You have to really zoom out and try to have like super macro perspective. Like, I'll be back. I just got to do this. But it's really tough for him for sure on a personal level.
Yeah, and then just from the Cubs standpoint, Javier Assad came up because they did
It's
put
great.
Matthew Boyd, and he was great. He gave up, but what? He was 1 hit in 5 2/3 shutout, I think is what it was.
Mhm.
And then, Colin Ray is a guy who started 27 games for them last year, had an ERA under 4, so he can be dependable. It's going to be the Justin Steele show, and they're hoping that by Memorial Day that he's back. The thing is that we know that when you come back from arm surgery, it's not like you show up. I mean, look, how long we're going to talk about Sandy Alcantara coming up in just a few minutes, but last year was not anywhere close to the same Sandy we saw pre-surgery. Now he is. So when we say that Justin Steele's returning for hopefully the last 4 months of the year, that is a big ask. If you're like, well, I want to see the Justin Steele we saw right before the injury.
Agreed. I mean, it's gonna take time to get the feel back on the pitches. The trust is another thing a lot of pitchers talk about when they're returning from injuries. Throwing it with conviction is what they'll say. It takes some time to get that back. A true like real feel on the mound. But again, you mentioned the guys, Assad and Ray, and that's not to mention. I mean, obviously the massive acquisition of Edward Cabrera. That's looking better and better by the day. Love me Simone Casey, but they needed this. Shota had a great start against your Guardians. His legs look like they're healthy. So like they planned for this, which every team now, unfortunately, I feel like has to do, where I think that they'll be able to at least tread water with what they have now. And then, when they get the reinforcements, Boyd being back, Justin Steele, we'll see what he looks like. They've done enough where I think that they'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm somewhat skeptical. I picked them to win the division, and I did think at the beginning of the year with the Cabrera trade that this was a team that could perhaps push the Dodgers to represent the NL in the World Series. I'm skeptical about that now because I believe so much in Cade Horton. I think that they're still in a good position with the amount of young talent they still have in the system, and some guys that are currently up with the big league squad that if you want to dangle them in a trade, if you want to try and get a big-time starter to help this team down the stretch, I think that is going to be very much in play come July. Very much.
I feel like the Marlins are like, hey, we'll listen.
Yeah, well.
Right?
The Marlins might be busy themselves.
Yeah, maybe.
Just
I
saying.
hope so.
The Dodgers, they have taken the first 2 of a 3-game set in their World Series rematch with the Toronto Blue Jays. So Toronto not only lost the game, their manager lost his cool as well. John Schneider came out and was arguing a balk call on Kevin Gausman. He quickly got ejected by home plate umpire Dan Merzel. We don't see a lot of these anymore, right? There's no strike zone pretty much to argue. We get some check swing stuff. But this, I mean, look at holy tomato face, Batman.
He is freaking bright red. I haven't seen this angle. Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, Schneid really letting him have it. Woo! Take a breath, brother. That head is about to burst.
You know what he's saying? He's like, Gausman throws the same way every time. Why are you just starting to call it now?
Yeah, that was his point. Here's his argument afterward.
Just didn't appreciate the fact that there's 4 umpires and one of them thought he saw something. So that was all I told him. You don't have to get creative. Kev's been pitching for 10 years, and he's been doing that for 10 years. So felt kind of nice to get a little frustration out.
No, I don't know if you're a balk expert or not, but I agree with his point about Gausman has been pitching the same way for a decade. Like, don't you know that if you're an umpire?
Sure. He's been doing it for a long time. I've been in the box against that was just
Ooh.
too quick. It was too quick.
So you think it was a balk?
I think so. I mean,
Huh.
you can say, hey, he does that multiple times a game, and I would say, well, then we should probably call him for a balk more. I just thought that one seemed a little bit quicker than typical. And I think it does matter if there's a guy on first base, because that is kind of what a balk is supposed to guard against, essentially.
Right. You're supposed to not deceive the base runner. That's the
Not
reason the
deceive the
rules
base
are.
runner. So like to me there's a little bit different of a situation there. But I had a lot of people say, well, because I mentioned on a social media post that that's a balk. I had Jock Jones telling me that it wasn't. I had pretty much the entire country of Canada telling me it wasn't. But I'm like, that one to me was just a little quicker than the others, so we called it a balk.
Okay.
It's a balk, dude. It's a balk. Why are we so mad about it?
I don't think that's the reason he was mad.
I agree. He's trying to fire the team up. Everyone that is like, what are you talking about? You've never seen him pitch. I'm like, okay, yes, I have. He's in my book, by the way. They're always like, he always is like that. It's always like a balk. I'm like, okay, then aren't you listening to yourself? Like, you got to make some sort of adjustment. Like, if you don't want a balk called on you, then you just got to slow down just a little bit. That one was too fast. That's it.
You might have changed my mind on that. I appreciate it. That's good. That's good thought process. Mike Clevenger's another guy who comes to mind that had the stutter, stop, and then go. Yeah, there's been some pretty famous pitchers that have lived that way. You should just be thankful you didn't have to live through the year that the league came down and said, we are clamping down on balks. And every game, guys were being sent around the bases. It was horrific to watch.
What year was that?
I'd have to look. I want to say it was the early 90s. But do you remember the umpire Bob Davidson?
Of course.
So they called him Balkin Bob Davidson.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was the guy who was leading the charge. And it was every game that Bob Davidson was out there, he was calling balks left. He was like trying to lead the league, and balks called him, almost like he had an incentive clause.
That never left him because, like he was always called that.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bob Davidson. I had a great relationship with him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good one. I like that.
He was an old school umpire, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did he know your name?
Probably at a certain time in my career, he probably did. Yeah.
Yeah, you came by probably at the back end of his
it was definitely back end of it. Oh, that boy.
Is that that's off of Gossman?
Yeah.
That's crappy Gossman.
Don't hang it.
Before he became a stud.
Don't hang it. He was pretty good back then.
Ooh.
That's second deck.
By the way, look at how different he looks.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that was him.
I didn't give him a chance to balk right there.
He was a top 5 pick. It's a pair of first rounders going at it.
All right.
Okay, the big question I wanted to ask was that now Toronto has 6 losses in a row. You mentioned, I'm not really worried about the offense. Is there a little bit of you that's worried about the offense?
I mean, 11 games in, I still feel like you got to go. I don't like that Addison Barger's on the IL. He started out really poorly. Now he's on the IL. I was banking on him being a big part of that offense. We saw spurts of like a really, really impact player in him, and I was looking forward to him taking that next step. It hasn't gone great for him. I mean, Dalton Varsho, very, very slow start. Now you have Alejandro Kirk hurt, and I mean that's a significant chunk of their offense. George Springer not off to a great start either. So I still think it's early, Chris. You can point to it for sure. You can say, "Hey, man, this isn't looking good. Like defensively, we're kind of a mess. We're not putting the ball in play like we usually do. We're not. Our offense doesn't look the same as it did." But I still think it's pump the brakes time, and we'll see. A month in, I think is when you can really start saying, like, "Oh shit."
Well, I will say this: that when they didn't replace Bichette, that was a concern for me because I think he's such a dependable bat, and the way that he goes about his at bats as well.
It felt like they thought Ernie Clement was going to be that replacement.
Well, look, I think Ernie has kind of turned the corner in his career. He went from such a bit player in this league to exploding to becoming the playoff historian offensively that we've seen. But it is guys like Barger who really got his first real shot at big league time last year and consistent at bats. It's Nathan Lucas who is not off to a good start. Davis Schneider is a name we've heard for years, but I mean, he couldn't even crack the lineup last year because everybody else was so productive. Springer, you certainly hope that he gets back relatively close to what he was last year, not some of the previous years he had in Toronto where he just couldn't justify that deal. And now with Kirk down for 6 weeks, you're going to have a couple of guys behind the plate who don't have the offensive pedigree of Alejandro Kirk, who's one of the best in the game when he's at the plate at that position. So there are fair questions to ask about this offense. I mean, it's almost like Vladdy's just got to be like, let's go, boys. Get on this back. We're going.
Well, that's a scary thing, I think, with Vladdy is he's getting walked a ton right now.
Yes, he is.
Like, why would you pitch to him if there's nobody that you're afraid of behind him? 17% walk percentage right now. He's averaged 10. Like, he's always been a guy that can walk. But now I think we're going to see that number go.
Yeah. Right. We all know everything is measured because we're a week and a half in. We understand that. But I do think that there's some signs for concern. I would say even the most ardent Blue Jays fans who are very much like Milwaukee, like if you come at us, we're going to come back at you. I would say that they would admit, sure, not everybody in this lineup that we're counting on this year is close to proven. So we get it. It's all right. Let us know where you are, Blue Jays fans. We know there's a lot of you up there. Let us know where you're sitting there in the comments section. All right, we got much more show coming your way, but first, this.
Baseball is here, people. The days are getting longer. The sun is back out, and baseball season is finally upon us. Baseball is a game of inches. The result of a game hinges on 1,000 little moments, and momentum can shift quickly. That's why we decided to team up with the Fanatics Markets, the trusted home for real-time sports prediction markets. It's simple. You just pick a game and choose an outcome, like which team will win, which player will hit a home run, and more. It's time to get involved in the action. Then you buy contracts based on what you think will happen. Yes, if you think it will. No, if you don't. You buy as many as you want, and you can sell if the price moves in your favor, or let it settle when the event ends. From opening day to the Fall Classic, no matter who you root for, Fanatics Market is right there with you. Join the Baseball Today family on Fanatics Markets. Event contracts carry risk of total loss and changing prices. Not good for all investors. Not available in all states. Must be 21 plus. See important disclosures in Fanatics Market app. Customers are introduced to Crypto.com by Paragon Global Markets LLC, DBA Fanatics Markets IB, and introducing broker registered with the CFTC and a member of the NFA.
All right, we continue on, and we'll take you to Miami, where Sandy Alcantara was just a couple outs away from picking up his second consecutive shutout. He had a 2-0 lead against the Cincinnati Reds, did put a couple of runners on, and then his manager did this.
Is he going to the bullpen, or is he going to get nose-to-nose with his ace? That's going to be it. And now boos rain down on Clayton McCullough. These fans wanted to see Sandy finish it.
That bounces. A break for home. The shovel. He saved. De La Cruz scores. The Reds have tied it, and Benson takes second.
Not only did they tie it, they ended up winning it 6-3 in extra innings. Here's the skipper on the decision to pull his ace afterward.
I made that decision, and it did not work out, obviously, and I'm sure, and I know he felt like he had plenty left to go finish that game out, so didn't give him that opportunity. So not much said.
Sandy said afterward, "I deserved to be asked how I was feeling before being taken out of the game." Is that accurate?
Yeah, I was going to say I hate when managers walk out and go like this, and they don't even give a chance to a guy like a Sandy who, that's what he does is go deep into games. He does finish games. He's like one of the only guys left in the sport that has the ability to do that. He was at 95 pitches. I think a guy like Sandy does deserve a discussion. Like, hey man, how are you feeling? Like the stuff was still playing. So
Well, wait, hold on. Can I stop you there?
yeah.
What do you think Sandy Alcantara is going to? Is he going to say, "Skip, I don't have it, man. Here's the ball"? Of course, he's going to say, "I feel great." So you know that.
There's
don't you?
there's a look in the eye. There's a look in the eye.
That part I
think.
can live with.
I
Yeah.
think there's a vibe that you can feel. You can tell when guys are like, I really want it, or like, hey, I'm just saying it to say it, because I know what you're saying. They're always gonna give you that answer. I also think it's just that part right there. Like you can have your mind made up no matter of the manager, but don't do it till you're out there talking to the guy. That's what I think. And there are different instances where, like, dude, the pitcher stinks right now. Like, I'm walking out and immediately I'm calling for the other pitcher because I can't even look at this guy on the mound anymore. It's disgusting. That wasn't one of the times.
Well, there's a few things going on here. I can't believe that. I know Anthony Bender has been a dependable pitcher for the Marlins at times, but that is not Rob Nen coming out of the bullpen for them when he was one of the best relievers in baseball. It's just facts are facts. The guy might be solid, but I'm living with Sandy trying to do his thing. Do you know the last time in the major leagues we had a guy throw consecutive shutouts?
Oof.
How long do you think it's been? You're not going to get the name, even though he still pitches today.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's that long ago. Back-to-back complete games. It's not Logan Webb.
No, not complete games. Shutouts.
Shutouts. Excuse me. Yeah, it's not Logan Webb. It has to be a complete game, Chris.
Well, I know, but there's a difference between back-to-back complete games and back-to-back shutouts.
That's true. We're both right. It's not Logan Webb because you said I don't know the name.
No, I said you do know the name, and he's still you know the name, but you're not going to get it.
Interesting.
We could sit here all day.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Morton.
That's great, except he doesn't play anymore, does he? Is he on the team?
He doesn't?
I don't know. He should be on. He's not getting paid $20 million by somebody this year.
Who is it?
Martin Perez.
Okay, I could have got there.
In 2014, we were ripped off. Come on, Clayton. Let him do it. It's been a dozen years since we've had somebody throw consecutive shutouts, and Sandy was just mowing them down. And look, I get it. It's like you get two guys on, and yeah, you want to bring in a fresh arm. And yes, it's early in the season. I will do you one better than me explaining it. Tommy Hutton is the legendary Marlins broadcaster at 79 years old. Once things went to you know what, here's Hutton on how things went down.
And Clayton's been asked this. I heard him ask this on a radio show. Well, what about September? If, how are you going to handle him when September? You know what? 8 or 10 more pitches right now to get out of this game isn't going to bother Sandy Alcantara in September at all.
You know what that is? That's 79 years old. It's my last year broadcasting, and I don't give a flying fuck who's going to get mad in the organization that I say shit. Good for you, Tommy Hutton, because you are exactly what we all want to be.
That's how it should be, though. Speak your mind. I can't do it. I can't, like, when I'm broadcasting, I can't be like, I'm mostly a positive guy, but if something needs to be said, you got to say it. I agree with him. This is a guy that can withstand, throwing those extra pitches. He does. That's what he does. That's like his calling card. So yeah, I didn't love the decision.
Tommy Hutton also said, if you're going to do that to Sandy Alcantara, you damn well better make sure the next pitcher you bring in is better than he is.
Do they have one?
No. And you know what? I don't think it's fair that this is like the one time we're going to talk about Clayton McCullough, because he actually has done a phenomenal job in now his second year with that franchise. He has done a remarkable job, and I don't want to dismiss that at all. And this is one game, and I'm sure he didn't sleep last night because this is what managers do. Like, they get picked on when they make pitching changes, and so he might have cost his team a win. But I think at the end of the night, you sleep better if you leave a Cy Young Award winner in than if you take him out.
Agreed. I agree with that. Charlie Morton not playing this year, and actually a bad guess. Only 3 complete games in his entire career, 2 shutouts. Last one in 2011.
Really?
Yeah.
I looked Martin Perez's game log from 2014. I was like, oh, curious. He didn't pitch that much that year.
Was he with the Rangers?
And yes, and 3 straight starts, he threw up zeros. It went 9 innings, 8 innings. I don't remember that. Okay. You were facing him.
He's one of those guys we went back to the dugout. Like, what the hell just happened right there?
So he's a race to the bat rack guy, but when you get up there, it's something like he ended up having a solid career.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he's a lefty that can get big league hitters out and stay healthy. Like, you're going to have a hell of a career.
Mm-hmm. Are you looking up your numbers against him?
I'm not. I'm looking up the Marlins bullpen, what we got going on here a little bit.
Yeah. I want to pay attention to the Marlins more. I'll say that.
My question to Marlins fans, if you're listening, is does Sandy also get his pitches called for him?
Oh.
Like from the dugout? I'm assuming yes, and he can shake if he wants, but or are they allowed to shake? I'm very curious about all this.
These are all good questions.
Yeah.
All right, it's time right now for Packing the Park, where we look at players and storylines that are getting fans into the stadium. It is brought to you by SeatGeek, and I know it's been chilly in the early going up in your Twin Cities, but if there's one guy who might bring him in every 5 days because he's off to a remarkable start in his first full season in this uniform, it's Taj Bradley. Last night, he took it to the Detroit Tigers, outdueled Tarek Skubal, 10 Ks in 6 1/3. What are you seeing that's different out of him than all those years we were like, when's Taj Bradley going to become a dude?
I mean, he's throwing harder. And the 4-seam is more effective because he's throwing it harder. The arm angle's up 3 or 4 degrees. I don't know if that's by design or it's just kind of where his body's at right now, but the 4-seamer is playing big time. He's got the splitter going. Cutter's still there, but I think that's the biggest thing. The difference that I've seen is the 4-seamer working for him. Wasn't a good pitch for him necessarily last year. This year it's been great. And I don't know, hey, can I say something? The Twins just continue to fleece the Rays. What is that about, dude? Nelson Cruz, a half a season of Nelson Cruz, Joe Ryan. 2 years, I think, of Griffin Jacks, who I think very highly of, but he's a reliever.
Yeah.
For a controllable, I think 3 years of Taj Bradley, who seems to be he's figuring he's 25 years old. I'm taking the Twins side on this one.
So you're doing to the Rays what the Rays have done to my Guardians.
They always say don't trade with the Rays unless you're the Twins.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that point. Good for him. He always was a 5-and-fly guy. Made his major league debut at 22. Had a 4.7 ERA in about 350 innings during his 3 years with the Rays. And it just, you thought that if there's a place he could develop and click, that it'd be down there because they've done it with so many pitchers, but it just didn't work. Happy for him. Good for you that you'll get to call some Taj Bradley games this year.
Yes. The movement's kind of all up. The curveball, a little bit more depth. The fastball, riding a little bit more. So I don't know. I mean, when I get down there, I would love to talk to him about what the difference has been. I don't know if he'll divulge that information, but he looks great.
Awesome. And quick reminder to use the code BASEBALL2026 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. Whatever you're doing, go get them at SeatGeek. Awesome. All right, fun-filled show. Everybody keep your fists to yourselves today. It was funny because on Tuesday's show, we talked about Wilson Contreras and basically calling his shot. Doesn't he have to go charge the mound? And instead, it happens all the way across the country. It was a good one.
It was a good one. Wilson Contreras had a nice night. 1 for 2, 2 walks.
Yeah. Don't mention his name. Brewers fans are going to jump down your throat. Okay? And just remember, they played against each other in the National League Central. I know. And you know what?
24 times, people. 24.
Well, and the Pirates were next closest 14 times. That's a massive difference. That's all. I get it. They played in the same division. I understand. I'm with you. I follow the rules too. I know. I didn't just start watching baseball.
No, you did.
Contrary to many of your comments.
How many decades?
Huh?
like 5. I mean, are we talking like 5 decades worth of baseball watching for you?
Mhm. Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean, I mean, a lot of people don't agree with me. That's perfectly fine. But let's not do the whole, you must be a casual. Like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Just because we don't agree, it's stupid. I don't call your opinion stupid. I just don't agree with them. But welcome to our country where we can't have civil discourse.
Someone mentioned that you must have never seen Kevin Gausman pitch before. First time watching, I'm like, dude, I've literally been in the box against the guy. What? I've watched Kevin Gausman pitch a ton. I think he should be called for a buck more often than he does. That time was more egregious, and I'm happy he got called for it.
That is beautiful. You know what we're going to do one day?
Yeah, show it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Forget it. Kevin Gausman is never going to do an interview with me just because we keep re-racking this tape. And by the way, his body composition, both of you look so much different. What year was this, Dan? You got a year on that?
He's 16, I think.
2016.
I was a different guy back then.
What'd you weigh then?
215.
You were packing it on. Were you? You were creatine,
I'm like 203 right now. I need to get down to like 197. That's
your fight.
Shed a little bit.
Really? That's your speedo weight?
I feel strong though.
Yeah, I can't wait till we have the John Boy Media calendar that comes out. I don't remember
I'll be seeing you in a few days, baby.
I forgot what month I'm signed up to be. Yuck.
You should be like December.
No, I shouldn't. Yeah, you'd have to put me in a Santa outfit so nobody would throw up in their mouths when they saw the rest of it.
I think you look great.
Yeah, thanks. All right, we're trying hard. I'm working out. It's the eating part that's killing me, as always. All right, we're going to be back at it. I think we'll have an early show release on Thursday because we got some travel stuff with warehouse games and all sorts of fun stuff. But we are doing a show on Thursday, and we cannot wait. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, you could just ask Kevin Gausman himself. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Thursday on Baseball Today, presented to you by T-Mobile. E5.